Hey, I'm Mark.
And I'm Teresa. Come hang out with us today
On my Fix It Up life.
Looking for a no-hassles roof for your home? Da Vinci Roofscapes offers affordable slate and shake roofing tiles that add long-term beauty to your home. The synthetic Da Vinci tiles resist mold, algae, fungus, and insects. Backed by a 50-year warranty, Da Vinci roofs are fire-resistant and withstand severe weather like high winds and hail. It's no wonder thousands of homeowners have chosen Da Vinci slate and shake tiles to not only protect but enhance the beauty of their home. Learn more about award-winning Da Vinci products at DaVinciRoofscapes.com or call 1-800-328-4624 today.
What a perfect day to play left right there.
You know what, Mark? It's a perfect day to sit outside and read a new book. What do you think?
We've got a cold front coming down on us, which means in the summertime, you can't have better weather. So instead of talking with our guest today, Brent Hull, we're out. We're done. Lawn chairs.
Go read under a pergola, light a little fire, have, a whole little romantic afternoon, right?
Yeah. So if you'd like to talk to Brent Hull, author of Building a Timeless House in an Instant Age,
go to Amazon and buy this book, and then we can all read along together, right?
Sure. Why not?
And since he's here, maybe we should talk to him.
All right, Brent. How you doing?
How are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing wonderfully. We've been reading your new book.
Well, wonderful. I appreciate that. I had a guy told me he was reading it to his daughter at home the other night. So, you can read it to your kids too. I had no idea.
That's funny. Now it's called Building a Timeless House in an Instant Age. It's a couple of 100 pages long or whatever it is. Give us the Twitter version.
140 characters.
The Twitter version is it's how not to build a McMansion. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I studied at a school for historic preservation in Boston. The difference between how things used to be made to how they are made today is so, stark that this book is the result of that difference. How things have changed, how we've lost the art of building.
It's actually kind of fascinating because they're things that we know that I'm being reminded of by reading your book, and things about, how craftsmen used to, not only build the doors and do all the trim and everything in the same place, and how things have separated out. It kind of reminds me a lot of the whole grocery store thing. We were talking about this the other day, about how, you used to go to a butcher.
A grocer, a butcher. The cheese place.
And then they consolidated into having the grocery store. And now people are going out to all these specialties again to try to, find the best cuts of meat. Well, I'm going to this butcher. I'm going to go and buy my fruits and vegetables at the farmer's market and stuff like that. So this book is kind of reminding me of all of that, too.
It's very similar. I'm glad you brought that up. On the book's website, thetimelesshouse.com, I wrote a blog a couple ones ago about the Twinkie. And the Twinkie is the kind of the American version of the McMansion, right? It's just kind of plastic and kind of pre-manufactured, and we've lost sense of. The Twinkie used to be a real treat. It used to have real banana filling, used to be made of, real things, and now it's not. And so I feel like our houses are the same thing, right? They've become a little bit plastic. And so I'm glad you saw that, because there is I think a strong similarity.
That's really interesting.
I have a phrase that I sort of live by, and I'm going to be all over the road in this, and I'm not trying to catch you in anything, because one of the things people watching should know is you build super houses. You don't just build a bunch of houses or a 28 by 32 cape with a 12 pitch. Super houses. And not that those aren't nice, and not that those can't be done well, but people have complained to me, craftsmanship is dead, nobody knows how to do stuff. Well, no, it's not. You just can't afford it.
Yeah, that is the dilemma. That is exactly the dilemma. One of the chapters is on technology, and that as our technology improves, our craftsmanship actually falls. You no longer need to know how to swing a hammer because you've got a nail gun. And, compound that by 100 things, and you realize that we've kind of lost sense for how to use hand tools, which was that training I had at North Bennett Street, was how to use hand tools. So you're exactly right. That is the dilemma. But with good design, okay, and a kind of a change in focus, I think we can get back. I think we can get good craftsmanship back. It's going to take some time.
Well, I think
it is a dilemma.
I think that there is kind of starting to be a sort of a resurgence and an interest in things that are historic, and even in things that people don't really consider to be of great taste. Like I just read, I think it was in an Old House Journal this past issue, where they're talking about all of these bathrooms. And they're the bathrooms that you usually see on DIY Network that people are ripping out, like the pink bathroom and
Right.
you know that those styles and how people embrace their bathroom that was done 50 years ago, and with all of the colors and the smallness that it is, and the fixtures that aren't as glamorous as what you would see today, and how wonderful it is to be able to have that. And I think that's very unique. That's not a perspective that I hear a lot about, but it's starting to trickle around a little bit.
Well, I think it is, and one of the things we tell our customers, I've got a bathroom right now in a house we're doing that has a pink and a green bathroom. So they got the pink suite of tub, sink, toilet, and a green suite of tub, sink, toilet. And I said, realize they wanted to tear it out. I said, realize that if this was a blank slate and you asked me to put this in, okay, these materials would be, $50,000 to $100,000 with the custom tiles, custom materials. And so I just want you to realize what you're taking out before we go about this, before we do this. And so they kind of looked at me like, that's interesting. Do I want to really tear out something that's so valuable? So there is a change that's taking place.
I rip stuff out just because I can afford it. I don't care if it's made out of platinum.
It's your workout, right?
Yeah, get it out of here. I'm going to get a new one.
Mark's
Greek
DIY.
Revival? I don't want it. Give me Roman Revival. That's it. Bring it in. Get it out. Why? Because I can. Moving on.
Mark's really into the demo movement, so that's the thing that he's supporting these days.
Well, my question is, as we're sort of here talking about Ferraris and Lamborghinis to put it in a car perspective, but for those of us driving as our son would call it, a super duddy, like a Ford pickup and your regular car that most people have, how can we bring what you talk about, these timeless details, into houses on a school teacher budget, or where you can't half blind dovetail every kitchen drawer in the place, but what can we do to amplify the hollow core door world that many of us live in?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, the quick answer is I don't know. I do know. It starts with design, okay? So design is first, and it starts with something that makes sense. So part of the timeless house is not just craftsmanship. It's also good design, and design that lasts. It isn't a fad. I've walked into too many houses where they got hand-scraped floors, they've got some kind of the faux finish. We look back maybe at the conversation pits and the smoke mirrors of the 70s. We are still doing that today, right? We're still installing those things. And so the design is, it's simplify, simplify, simplify. We're working on a house right now. This guy has, he had a McMansion set of plans, and he came to us and said, hey, help us out. We stripped away more than we put back in. We just said, I understand why you're trying, but this is just more for more sake. So it's, instead of building the most square footage for the least amount of money, let's draw back a little bit of our square footage. Do we really need a 8,000 square foot house? And so for the school teacher, you'd be saying, okay, the compromises I would make, okay, because I don't make a ton of money. The compromise I'd make, either go to an old house, okay, where you've got those inherent design, inherent craftsmanship there, and work on that. That's one way. The other way is to, instead of saying, well, I can afford 3,000 square feet, can you afford 2,200 square feet? And if so, then we can apply and put more of that budget into quality products instead of just the McMansion stuff that comes out the door of a Home Depot or something. So, it's a balance. Good design, and then just managing those materials and trying to make good decisions so that you're not, trying to have everything. You're just trying to make a good decision about something that's important.
I really like what you're saying, and it goes along with another book I just read, The Essentialist. I don't remember what the name of the book was about. Essentialism.
How to Be Smarter Than All Your Other Friends. That's the
Nice.
subtitle.
That's not really the subtitle. No.
Yeah, so turns out I was reading
getting
this book.
to the essential pieces and parts of what you need, and it reminds me of the whole like tiny house movement too.
Totally.
that people are talking about.
Totally,
which I
very
think-
similar.
Have you built a tiny house or been asked to?
Yes, and it was very expensive.
Yeah.
So I haven't really solved the tiny house problem. We built 2 of them, and they just ended up being very costly. And so as a square footage, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. It was probably a $100,000 exercise.
Yeah.
And so. Gosh, that's a lot of money for a tiny house. I guess the way I was thinking about it. But no, the tiny house movement is exactly the same thing. I mean, if you read the building trades right now, all they talk about is the houses aren't selling. I would argue that if they gave us a product we got excited about, a small house, a beautiful house, something that was well crafted, less square footage, but something that was an iPod. Give me an iPod. Give me something that I'm excited about. People would buy it in droves. I think typical production houses today are ugly, and that's the reason they're not selling.
Because there are plenty of old houses on the
Yeah.
market, plenty of old neighborhoods where
Well,
you can walk to the store.
And I'm
Totally,
guessing too.
totally.
We only have about a minute
Yeah.
left. That the millennials that are all turning 30 these days, and how the mindset of the iPod in all of the smartphones and everything, and not wanting to buy their parents' house maybe,
Yeah.
and wanting to buy something that's sleek and modern and super
Yeah.
cool and high functioning too.
Yeah. Plus you don't have to run lines through old plaster walls if you buy an old house. Yeah, cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, you can just go on you can just binge all of your electronics. Like you just do a purge. How would you feel about that?
Could you Facebook me that
Can you-
question, and I will get back to you by email
Send me a
via
tweet on that.
at Brent Hull 1. Follow him, learn how to do cool stuff cooler, read his book,
Buy the book.
Building
Thanks,
a Timeless
guys.
House in an Instant Age. We gotta go. Watch this and other interviews on YouTube. See ya!
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brent.
Take care. Bye.
Written out square